haven't heard it yet. Okay.
I have.
So this story is about a fork in the road that I created for myself. So like many young women in their 20s, I had some issues with my body because it was not the traditional, beautiful body. And J-Lo and Kim Kardashian hadn't come out yet. And so just to give you an example, when that song Brick House would come on, people are like, Carrie, it's your song. And so I always wore kind of like clothes that were too big and all that good stuff. So I decide that my fork in the road is that I want to feel comfortable in my own body, in my own skin. And so, like most 20-year-olds whose brain has not formed yet, I decide that what success looks like is that I should be able to be naked in my own house and feel comfortable with that. All right, so that sounds like a good goal, or what success looks like. But how do we get there? So how we get there is we decide that I need to be a nude model for like a drawing class or something. I need to be in front of people and sit in my discomfort in front of other people, strangers.
Great idea.
So I set out and I lived in Dallas at the time, and so I went to the Dallas Observer. It's kind of like the San Francisco Guardian. It's the old paper where you got all the concert venues and times, and of course the ads. So I go looking for an ad for a nude model, and I find one. It's for a photographer who's looking for nude models, and so I'm like, perfect. And so I call the number, and of course I'm hoping that either they won't answer or they will never return my call, and he answers. Oh shoot. So I'm like, hi, I'm looking to, do this nude modeling thing. And he says, great. I am actually doing a photography series on I'm taking pictures to show the soft lines of a woman's body next to the hard lines of industry. And I was like, fascinating. Artistic. I'm in. So I meet the guy, and I show up and I'm trying to look as cute as possible so that he picks me. And he was a nice, unassuming gay man, so I wasn't scared for my safety. And so I said, look, here's the thing. Here are my terms. I don't want you to sell the pictures, like, the negatives or anything without my permission. And I don't want you to pay me. And all I want from this is a picture, because this is really about my personal development. He said, sure, sounds good. So we pick a date, and we go to South Dallas, just the two of us, to these dilapidated old buildings, abandoned and all the good stuff. And he's like, all right, let's go. All right. So we go to these buildings and climb up on the roof, and I'm literally scaling the wall because it's dilapidated. And I get up there, and there's the beautiful skyline of Dallas behind me, this dilapidated old building, and now I have to take my clothes off. So I'm like, ah! You can imagine trying to take your clothes off on a roof that's falling apart after you've scaled up there. And so I take off my clothes, and I'm pretty sure that all of the pictures look like this. Right? So we take the pictures, and I am like, all right, I did that. We made it out alive. I meet with him a couple weeks later, and he hands me this box with an 11 by 13 black and white landscape portrait of me on this building with the Dallas skyline behind me. And I can tell you it was not pretty. I will never be a Victoria's Secret model, but that's not here or there. So I get this picture. It's in this orange photography box, and I'm like proud of myself because I completed this mission. And so I stick it under my bed. And a couple years later, and hadn't thought about this picture in forever. A couple years later, I'm 22, I moved to the Bay Area in my little studio apartment in Burlingame, California, and out of nowhere, I get a package in the mail. What is in this package? My roommate, when I moved from Dallas to the Bay Area, took my orange boxed picture, had it framed and matted, and sent it to me. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this picture? I don't know. So I decided in my warped little mind that this was phase 2 of the process, right? Phase 2 of the process is that I'm going to hang it up in my apartment. So that I have to live with my discomfort with people I know. So I put it in my bathroom behind the door, which I thought was perfect until my boss and his wife dropped me off one day. I needed to use the restroom and I was horrified. So, anywho, so I lived with that kind of strategy as I moved from apartment to apartment. And then a couple years later, I moved to Boston. And so when I moved to Boston, I have very few belongings, but I have a mover taking all my stuff, and then I have a car transport to take my Pontiac Sunfire, where I have loaded all of my precious possessions, which include my picture and my vacuum cleaner. Right? So I also know that the car is going to get there before my all my stuff, so I put some sheets in there too. Anywho, so I get to Boston and I'm living in the south end of Boston on a major street, and it's all like permit parking. So that means I have to park like blocks and blocks away just to park. I was so naive at the time, I literally put a little note in the window that said, "I'm new here, please don't give me a ticket." So all that to say is that I did not want to be carrying my naked picture and my vacuum cleaner 3 blocks to get up to my apartment. And so I left it there for a while until I got my own permit and what have you. And one day I go to my car and it has been broken into. And they have stolen my picture and my hiking shoes. And so I have decided that this is now phase 3 of the process. I am now somewhere in Boston. And I'm so proud that people have thought that I was so like snazzy enough. I must be worth some money, right? And so I am so excited. But I also spend time going to all these little yard sales and trying to find my picture because, to be quite honest, I really don't want some stranger to have it. So all that to say is that if you see a picture of a goofy looking girl like this, buy it because I'm ready for phase 4. Thank you.